Hey my fellow Atari Jaguar gamers, and welcome back to the Atari Jaguar review series. Today I am reviewing not one, not two, but three Atari Jaguar games. The first title up for review today is the arcade smash hit NBA Jam Tournament Edition. Released to arcades in 1993, NBA Jam took the gaming world by storm and became one of the most successful arcade games of all time. The game was ported to many consoles. The Atari Jaguar version is considered one of the best versions of the game, though there's a lot of debate over if the Sega 32X version might be better, but that's a story for another time. Okay, NBA Jam is basically a 2-on-2 basketball tournament, and this is one of the few games on the Jaguar that is actually 4 players thanks to the multi-tap. The game is surprisingly fun. The gameplay is fast and exciting, and is all around a good time. The only issue with the multiplayer is your partner can basically disappear off screen for a short time, and if you're playing 4 players, this could really make the game confusing. There are a lot of special effects such as fireballs and other cool effects, and there is a lot of nice color and animation used, and the graphics are really nice. The sound effects and music are also really good. The character roster is also very large, with a lot of variety. I admit I'm not a major sports game player, but I admit this is a good game. I'm giving NBA Jam Tournament Edition a solid A. There's nothing really wrong with the game. It's a really solid port, but there are a few issues like shooting the ball into the net can be difficult to pull off, and the fact that players can fall out of view for a short time can make the game confusing. I definitely recommend picking up a copy of this game, but this was one of the last Jaguar games released. In fact, it was released after Atari carts, so needless to say, it can be hard to find and expensive, but I'd say it's worth picking up. Okay, the next title I'm covering today is another reimagining of a cult classic arcade hit, Defender 2000. Defender 2000 is another modern adaptation like Tempest 2000 and Missile Command 3D. Okay, Defender 2000 has 3 different game modes: Classic Defender, Defender Plus, and Defender 2000. I'm going to talk about Classic Defender first. Going straight into it, Classic Defender is just basically a port of the original arcade version of Defender. The gameplay is pretty solid. This port has very good controls, and the sound effects are pretty faithful to the original. The gameplay is solid. I don't think it's 100% arcade perfect, but it's pretty damn close. Overall, it's surprisingly fun to play this classic version, and it still offers a lot of challenge. For those of you that don't know what Defender is about, your objective is to save humans from invading alien ships. You use a radar system to see where the enemy is, and if humans are being taken. And this is also used in Defender Plus and Defender 2000. The one complaint I have is I wish there would have been a solid soundtrack added to this port to add some extra entertainment. And I mean, obviously there would have needed to be an option to play this port with or without the potential new soundtrack, but it would have been nice if there had been a soundtrack added. Defender Plus is quite a strange creation. Okay, Defender Plus has a larger ship to do battle with, and this time, the ship uses a dark design, but what's really strange about this game mode is the really trippy graphics. Every level has a really trippy light show, like you're playing this game above the northern lights. Part of me wonders if this mode was made for people who trip out on certain types of illegal stuff, but that being said, the color effects are really cool. I find the enemies in this port can be a bit hard to see, and should have been a bit larger, especially when they pop out of nowhere. Defender Plus offers a lot of challenge, and you need to have fast reaction times, but there are warp zones in each level, which can help you survive the gauntlet of enemies you'll be facing. The controls are again solid, and the game's performance is excellent. The sound effects are pretty good. The trippy graphics are definitely interesting to look at. and it makes playing Defender Plus an interesting experience. The two issues I have with this mode is there is no background music, which I feel would have made this very trippy gameplay even more enjoyable, and a two-player co-op mode would have been so awesome. Alright, time to look at Defender 2000. Okay, Defender 2000 has a major upgrade in graphics, music, and even sound effects. The graphics are very colorful and high resolution, but they're kept simple to a degree to try and keep the Defender style gameplay. The ship you do battle with is really large and looks pretty good. There is a ton of flashy visuals going on, which really hypes up this version. The enemies still have simple designs but are much larger, making them easier to see, and they look really good. The sound effects are really good, and the music is just outstanding, and it probably should be, because if you haven't figured it out by now, from the flashy visuals and excellent music, that Jeff Minter, who created the awesome Tempest 2000, also created Defender 2000, and he had the same orchestra responsible for Tempest 2000's awesome soundtrack do the soundtrack for this, and it's also awesome. Defender 2000 has an insane 100 levels, and I can tell you, this game gets very tough, very fast, but luckily there are shields and power-ups that can give you an edge, and believe me, you'll need all the advantages you can get to beat this game. The biggest problem with this version is because your ship and the enemies being so large, and the fact that your ship can go super fast, it is too easy to smash into the enemy, and you'll have to depend on the radar screen for life and death, and this issue makes the game brutally hard, especially in the higher levels. Everyone wishes this game kind of had like a widescreen mode, so that you'd be able to see more of the gaming field and have more warning time when enemies are approaching, and I admit, I agree that this would have been better for the gameplay. There was a rumor going around that Jeff Minter did not want this version of the game to have this problem, and he wanted to keep the enemies and the ship smaller, closer to the original Defender style gameplay, but apparently Atari pushed him to have really nice large visuals to try and show off the Jaguar's capabilities, but it's just a rumor, and I haven't seen any confirmation of this. Defender 2000 is not perfect, but it plays very well, and it is really fun, and I love the flashy graphics, and the music and sound effects are just awesome. I really wish Defender 2000 had a co-op mode, but unfortunately it doesn't. But there's a two-player option where each player can take a turn playing a level, but it's just not the same. There are two unlockable hidden games in Defender 2000, Flossie's Revenge and Plasma Pong. I unfortunately haven't been able to unlock Flossie's Revenge yet, but I was able to get access to Plasma Pong. Plasma Pong is basically classic Pong, but has really flashy color backgrounds. And what's interesting is Plasma Pong is going to be a launch title for the cancelled Atari Panther. You have the option of playing with a friend or against the computer. It's a nice mini game to have. I'm giving Defender 2000 an A-. This game is pretty good. Each of the three game modes offers an interesting style of gameplay, and the game overall is really fun to play. However, especially on Defender 2000, because of the huge visuals, the game just gets too punishingly hard. Also, I feel a co-op mode would have really been awesome in this game. Jeff Minter did a great job of creating an updated version of Classic Defender, but it's just not as polished as Tempest 2000 is. I do recommend you pick up a copy of Defender 2000, but I will warn you, this game is not cheap. It was one of the last games released for the Jaguar, and because it's a good game, it can fetch some serious cash. If you can find a copy at a good price, then don't pass it up. Defender 2000 is a really good game. Alright, for my last, but not least, third game I'm covering, I am going to review one of the weirdest, strangest, bizarre games ever released, not only on the Jaguar, but on any gaming platform, Attack of the Mutant Penguins. Okay, Attack of the Mutant Penguins story is evil aliens from another galaxy pick up a television transmission from Earth, which apparently was about penguins. The aliens figured it would be an easy world to conquer, so they decide to invade, but first they transform themselves into evil penguins so they could blend in. But when they got to Earth, they realized their massive mistake, and instead of transforming themselves into humans, they just put on human clothes over their penguin mutated bodies, figuring that would be enough to not be noticed. And needless to say, that didn't work out. Anyway, two intergalactic bounty hunters, Bernard and Rodney, hear about the invasion and they race to Earth to stop the aliens from activating the Doomsday Scale, which would destroy Earth. And also the penguins of Earth stand and fight the evil penguins with the two interstellar bounty hunters. Okay, from that story, you know this is going to be one strange game. You start the game by choosing any of the first 6 levels of the 20 levels in the game, as well as one of the 3 difficulties, normal, wicked, and tricky. And then you select either the characters Bernard or Rodney, and then you start playing the game. Okay, going straight into the gameplay. When you first play this game, you're going to die several times until you figure out what you have to do. This game is straightforward once you figure out the gameplay mechanics, but at first, be prepared to see the Doomsday Scale going boom a lot. Okay, when you start a level, you get a sneak peek at the level, which will help you plan what you need to do. And believe me, you will need to strategize if you want to win. When you start a level, the first thing you need to do is collect these blue creatures called gremlins, and you need them to open treasure chests for you, which will either give you certain types of power-ups like dynamite or allow you to give your enemies instant deaths for a short time. You need to collect 3 letters, which will spell either the words pan or bat, which are your primary weapons. Okay, now you're going to think you just have to whack the evil penguins a few times, right? Well, not exactly. This is not a smash and smash type of game. You need to hit the alien penguin and then collect 5 orbs that spread out when you smash a penguin. But if you're not fast enough, or if they land out of range, you might need to do this a few times. Once you collect 5 orbs, your weapon's powered up, and now you can smash and kill the enemy penguins, but you can only kill so many before you need to recharge your weapon. However, you can get overwhelmed by penguins, so there are other things in each level which will help you out, like traps which can kill the enemy for you, but they will break down over time, and you have to use gremlins to repair them. And there are switches and barriers which can force the evil penguins to follow a certain path, and there are good penguins in each level which will fight the evil penguins, and this can make the levels chaotic with so much going on. Alright, your objective is you don't want the evil penguins getting to the Doomsday Scale no matter what, especially if the mutant penguins transform back into their alien form. If they do and jump inside the Doomsday Scale, just one of them could be enough to cause the scale to go to the evil side, and then you lose. However, the good penguins can also jump inside the scale and help keep the balance in your favor, so try your best not to kill them, but that can be difficult to do. After each level, you get to play one of 3 mini-games. Penguin Control, where you need to shoot red balls out of cannons to sink icebergs with evil penguins on them. The second mini-game is Penguin Range, and your objective here is to shoot alien penguins. The third mini-game is a Space Invaders clone. After you beat the minigame, depending on your score, you will be rewarded good penguins for the next stage, which will increase your chances of winning. Okay, in between each stage, you have the option of changing between characters, which is a nice feature to have. Alright, as you progress through the game, the stages will become larger and more complex, requiring more strategizing and faster reaction times, and on some levels, I have seen traps which will trick you, and you will have no time to react and get an instant death. Okay, that was Attack of the Mutant Penguins. After taking a hard look at this interesting creation, I'm giving Attack of the Mutant Penguins an A-. This game is an interesting surprise when you play it. The gameplay is pretty straightforward once you figure out what's going on, but I like the fact that the game forces you to think strategically, and it's an added bonus that you can check out each level before you start it, so you're not playing a level blind. The controls are very good, But one major issue I have is the frying pan weapon has more of an attack range than the baseball bat does. How does that work? The minigames are pretty good, but I admit they could be more exciting. The graphics in this game are pretty nice. The levels themselves look decent, but some levels have some really cool designs, and the backgrounds, both on the levels and in the minigames, look really good. I know you're going to say, a 16-bit console can easily do this. Yes, I'm sure a 16-bit console could probably play this game, but the graphics would be considerably reduced, especially in the backgrounds. The biggest issue with this game is there is no background music during the gameplay, which is disappointing, because even though this game can be fun to play, but it can get boring at times, and having some really good background music would have really helped make this game become awesome. The sound effects in the game are pretty good. Nothing spectacular, but they're decent. The other major issue is, it seems this game was supposed to have a multiplayer option on the game's story, and the fact that there were 2 playable characters, having a multiplayer mode would have really been fun. Attack of the Mutant Penguins is a fun strategy beat 'em up, which is the best way I can describe this game. And even though this game looks like it was designed for kids, it actually shows blood in the game, though not a lot, but some. And a funny story, a lot of people think because of this game's interesting gameplay and flashy visuals and sound effects that Jeff Minter made this game, but no, it was actually a UK company that created this bizarre game. Attack of the Mutant Penguins is an okay game, and I would say it's worth picking up on the Jaguar, though a PC port of this also exists, and it might be a bit better, but I haven't played it, so I can't answer that for sure. But I'd say picking up Attack of the Mutant Penguins on the Jaguar is a good idea. Alright, this concludes this part of the Atari Jaguar review series. I will be back soon, covering a new area of the Atari Jaguar. I will talk to you guys later. This is the Entertainment Wizard, signing off.